imagine I've probably lost quite a few viewers over the last couple weeks. Um, I do apologize about that. um, this was more or less just a message for my wonderful viewers and my subscribers and my friends on YouTube. The people who got me started and Red Chug and Pug already knows, and so does Crimson. But um, I I didn't really go into details because I didn't want it to be like a big thing. But I've only been on YouTube for probably about I don't know 3 or 4 months. In regards to probably 4 months in regards to gaming. I've been on YouTube for a while with my music. Not that there's much of that, but I for the last year I've been pretty sick, and like I said, I didn't really want to do too much talking about it because, for one, um, I wasn't sure what exactly was wrong. I knew that there was a lot of things going on with me. I I had lots of elevated like cortisol or adrenaline or something, basically coursing through me for about a year solid. It wasn't fun. I had heart palpitations, what they call tachycardia, and it was probably because of either the cortisol or the adrenaline, noradrenaline, norepinephrine, nor yeah. Uh, but I also was having issues I would have like skin rashes and things like that, and I was constantly thirsty, but I was drinking tons of water, plenty of electrolytes, and doctors just couldn't. They kept diagnosing me with anxiety, and while I uh, I do admit I had anxiety real bad after whatever this was had started, and but they kept telling me that it was more or less all in my head. Um, that me researching what was going on with my body was causing me to panic, and it was causing the anxiety. But I had seen a psychiatrist, and I had them even try to treat me. Not the psychiatrist, but I had the doctors try to treat me for the anxiety and whatnot. And well, that sent my heart rate to 110 while I was sleeping. So they were 100% wrong about that. While yes, I did experience a generalized anxiety disorder, it was because of what was happening to me medically, physically, um, that I developed such bad anxiety. And but the symptoms were real. They were there. Um, and you know, I tried talking to the doctors because I did my own research, and for a long time, because they didn't believe me, I thought that I was the only hope I had for saving myself. And throughout most of the year, um, I was kind of between myself and Crimson. We were kind of on our own trying to figure this out, and then the doctors were like, months behind us, and they were taking forever to try to do any kind of tests. They wanted to wait for cardiologist reports and my gastroenterologist reports and a whole myriad of other things before the primary was willing to proceed. And it definitely tore me up because, you know, every few days I would have another tachycardic episode where my heart rate would be at random in between 120 and about 150. A couple of them I had one that got up to 168, and I had one while I was at work that got over 180. And that sounds, you know, not bad. Even 120 doesn't sound bad, but when you're not moving or doing anything and you're laying down and you get to that heart rate for absolutely no reason, and it's like, it's not just that it's fast. When you do small tasks, sometimes your heart rate gets up to 120, maybe 150 if you're running or something. When you're just laying there and you're trying to go to sleep and your heart is pushing your neck so hard that you can't fall asleep, it's not fun. I promise. But I had all of these symptoms. Tachycardia, I was having, shortness of breath, and I would have these dizzy spells, and then my blood pressure, it would be extraordinarily high one day and then extraordinarily low another day, and then I would have these, triggers when I would eat certain things that I could tell that there was something about the things that I was eating that was causing these symptoms to get worse. And the very first thing I think Crimson had come up with was gastrocardiac syndrome, which a lot of doctors don't even know what that is. I tried talking to my gastroenterologist about it. He didn't know what it was. My primary doctor didn't know what it was. It just made the most sense because more or less when I would eat things, I would go, certain things, I'd go into a tachycardic episode. And, but they just couldn't work it out. I found out that I did have a what's called a Helicobacter pylori infection of the gut. It's just a little bacteria that most people have and never have symptoms. And so they treated me for that, and that went well. They got rid of it, and I was doing better for a little bit. I'm assuming because of the antibiotics. But after that, I had probably about a month or two where I was doing okay, but I would still kind of have these, where my heart rate would get up real quick whenever I'd stand up or something. And I just brushed it off. I was like, okay, I'm just out of shape because I've been sitting around all day and whatnot. And but they progressively got worse again, and I was like, okay, well maybe the H. pylori is back. It says on most of the websites that it can come back, and went and got checked, and no, it was gone. And I checked it again, like probably about 4 or 5 months later. It was still gone. And I tried telling lots of people that it was another infection of some kind. I was dead set that it was what's called SIBO, otherwise known as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. And basically, it's a bacteria bug that's in your small intestine. It can kind of traverse back and forth around your small intestine, your large intestine, and your stomach. And it it kind of works under the same pretext as yeast does, where it eats certain things and it produces gas. Um, and in this case, it does eat sugar, um, but it can produce either hydrogen or methane, or sometimes both if you have both types. And mine, given some of the other symptoms that I have, I'm not going to go into great details about them, but um, from what it looked like, it was the methane dominant SIBO. And more recently, I revisited that again because I was like, okay, well, I'll go to this gastrosurgeon. I'll try talking to them because my stomach just it felt like it wasn't emptying properly. I was like, okay, it's got to be a gut motility issue, something. And so I talked to them, um, and they set me up with an emptying test, and I hadn't gone to it yet. I was supposed to go tomorrow, but uh, in the meantime, I was having worse and worse symptoms over the last couple weeks, and so I pleaded and begged with about 4 or 5 different doctors for somebody to give me the SIBO test because my primary from before, about 6 months ago, wouldn't do it. And so eventually I finally got to a point to where um, out of pure luck, I was texting a nurse, and I was like, is there really nobody that will give me this test?" And I pretty much had given up hope. I was like, okay, I'm pretty much gonna die because of other people's negligence and ignorance. They are ignoring the fact that I'm having these severe symptoms and nobody's willing to, perform the test that I'm asking. And then lo and behold, the very next morning I get a phone call and they say, "Okay, we're going to test you. We just need you to come in and you're going to have to take this drink." And one of the gastroenterologists, not the one that I was seeing, but one of the gastroenterologists at that hospital said, "Sure, I'll take the rap for this one. Order him the test." And it was completely by chance that this very, very genuinely nice person, and I still haven't met this person yet, took a chance on me to do a test without having met me or without any kind of knowledge of what's going on. He may have looked at my chart briefly, but it's like almost 500 pages long, and it has probably about 8 different CT scans, about 3 different X-rays, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So he would have had to have sifted through a lot of stuff, but within the span of, let's say, 10 hours, 12 hours, uh, he decided that he would take a chance on me. And so I've had the nurses tell me the next morning, of course, that I would have to go and get this substance from the pharmacy. It's called lactulose. It is a type of fermentable sugar that is non-absorbable. So basically, they would give you lactulose to make you flush out your system, let's say, because it acts as a laxative, right? It doesn't absorb, so it just shoots straight through your digestive system. And so I've done a lot of research on all these subjects, and I had a pretty good feeling that there was going to be some negative repercussions from taking this stuff. So myself and Crimson were on the way to the hospital, and I drank the solution, and I was like, okay, I'll be all right. I tried to have a little bit of faith, and no, after about a minute and a half, my heart beat really, really hard in my chest, and then it shot up to probably about 130 instantly. We had to call the emergency services, and we had to pull off on the side of the road. Luckily, I was smart. I have a type of medicine that helps control the heart muscle. It only allows it to beat within a certain range. Mostly because it helps to block your adrenaline and and cortisol receptors. So as soon as that stuff kicked my heart into overdrive, I took my other medication, and by the time the EMS got there, my heart rate got back down to 90, and I was okay enough to continue on to the hospital. And they did the test, and from what I saw, it looks like this may be what was causing all the problems. So, you know, to those of you guys out there that play video games on YouTube or for fun, you know, that you not calling anybody lazy, but you know, when we sit and play video games, we sit, you know, and we don't really do much else other than, you know, mash on the controllers or what have you. But just make sure you're taking care of yourself. Um, you know, when people tell you to make sure that you're drinking water, or make sure you're getting electrolytes, make sure you're getting something to eat, make sure you get up and exercise a little bit, you know. Um, just try not to be too too much into yourself about it, you know. Take what they say and just ask yourself that question. Did I drink today? Did I do a little bit of stretching exercise, you know? Have I been getting enough electrolytes? Or, you know, pay attention to what your body says 100%. If you feel like there's something wrong, don't let it ride. Don't question it. Or rather, don't question whether or not it's something to be worried about. Always trust your instinct. And, you know, the doctors, while I'm pretty mad about how I was treated through the medical system, I can't really be mad. But at the same time, I wish there was people that worked in the medical field that were as, you know, stubborn as I was about figuring out what was wrong with me. And I know these people see lots of people every day. And, you know, for most of these people, it's you're just a number that walks through the door, and your number has a time limit, and they have to get you out of there within the hour. But if you really think something's wrong with you, do the research. Don't scare yourself. You know, that's how you become a hypochondriac. But go with what you know as far as facts go. You know, like with me, I knew I had tachycardia. I knew that my anxiety. I've never been an anxious person, and for me to flip the script and be extraordinarily anxious all the time, that was something weird. and I leaned into that, and that's where I found out about the adrenaline. It's like, okay, I'm either producing a lot of adrenaline, cortisol, epinephrine, something. I'm producing a chemical, and I used that as a basis. Okay, how does that chemical work? You know, how is it processed? That's when I learned about the H receptors. You have a lot of different H receptors. Some of them have more to do with like allergies and your response to them. Some of them have to do with receiving your, um, your adrenaline, and it's supposed to receive it and break it down. Things like that, and I just had this gut feeling that there was something more going on with my body than what the doctors thought. And not terribly soon, but soon, hopefully, I can return to YouTube full force and show you guys some interesting video games. I got a lot. I got a lot that I've been accumulating on for Retro Arcade. I know that I don't have a whole bunch of like new games. I'm still running off of a PS4 and an iPad, for Jesus' sake. But I I got a lot of stuff that I want to show you guys. Some kind of off the wall random stuff for the Retro Arcade. I still want to finish up my Outer Worlds playthrough. I want to eventually do another run through of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, because I have an original copy now, not the PS4 version. I have a PS1 version of it with the original voice actors, and maybe this time we'll do some skips or something. That sounds like fun. I didn't get to show you guys how to do the pixel perfect like Richter skips and things like that, and I really want to. I want to show you guys that. I want to show you guys. Oops, sorry. I want to show you guys some of the other types of weapons in the game, and I know you guys got to see the map. 200.6 completed, but and I wanted to say thank you. I don't have a list in front of me, but a lot of my friends that on YouTube that checked in on me, and have asked about me. So I really do appreciate it. To of course, Red Chug and Pug and Crimson. They've done more for me than anybody will ever know, but also to Fierce and to Nines and her crew. I know Fierce has checked on me more so than the other guys, but last time we hung out together and stuff, everybody was kind of asking about me, and I'm really, really sincere when I say that. I'm sorry that I haven't been on for a while. I had to get a hold of my health first, and I'll be damned if I'm not going to be back. I'm trying as hard as possible not to die. So you guys better hang out with me. You better comment and play the game alongside of me. And I'll see you guys here as soon as I can, alright? Y'all have a good one. Bye.